This episode felt like Yuya watched a bunch of M. Night Shyamalan movies and just discovered the Shyamalan twist, so he said, I would do that. There was one twist that I liked, one that I'm semi in the middle of, and one that I didn't like so much. Let's talk about the thing that I didn't like first, and that was Niramu transforming into Kamen Glazer to fight Azuma. Calling it a fight is kind of weird because it was barely a fight, it was Niramu just wiping Azuma's butt, barely even throwing one punch. After Niramu beats Azuma, Azuma somehow cheats death again, and Niramu just leaves him because Azuma did it more than once, so that means that his return to life isn't breaking the realism of the game, but in fact Azuma's existence is remarkably real. What? Let's talk about the things that I didn't like. And that is Niramu being a rider. In my opinion, it's really dumb. I think Niramu as a character doesn't need a driver. He could have been the most interesting character because he's this all-powerful being that doesn't need a driver. He's powerful, but not in the battlefield, just in this kind of weird universe that he probably created for himself. And here's the thing, I don't hate the idea and the design of Glazer, but I believe it should have been someone else. I'm not saying it should be this well-developed character, but it could have been maybe a completely mind-controlled Girori or someone else, just a puppet for Niramu to just play with. If I can be positive about this debut, and that is Niramu's transformation was really cool. Glazer's fighting style, specifically just using the spheres to do his bidding, is really cool. And his finishing attack was absolutely showing us that Niramu has a god complex. Well, now to the thing that I'm kind of in the middle about. I don't have a concrete opinion yet, but I am very much intrigued by it, and that is the return of Daichi. He's back. He was actually recruited by Bobora to be her advisor and the new member of the writer team that she's building. Right now, the only thing I can say that this is a very cool idea. Depends on how it's going to be expanded upon. Specifically, our more retired writers are going to come back? Maybe the pawn? Like, it would make all the sense in the world to bring back the pawn, right? But it's a very interesting idea that now the Yamato are building their own team of writers to compete against the DGP writers. And to the interesting part specifically about Daiji's return, and that is somehow Bobara got Daiji's ID core. And the only thing she said about it when Daiji actually asked about it, and that is she has her own back door, whatever that means. Probably relating to someone big on the higher ups in the DGP, could be one of the bigger sponsors because maybe they hold the retired ID cores, because if I remember correctly, Kosei did held both John and Ben's ID core wherever they are right now, because it's been a while since we've seen those two, but it could be a very big sponsor that can hold specific ID cores. And now to the thing that I really liked about this episode, and that was last week's reveal being a misdirection, because Seiya wasn't a disaster star. She just found the card in her and Neon shared kind of place, because Neon is in fact the disaster. And not only that, she didn't misplace the card. The Game Master put it in their kind of shared area because he was bored and he was kind of seeking some drama. So at least this is some sort of a characterization to the Game Master that I still didn't learn his name yet. And I love the idea that the camera work last week was kind of leading us towards, oh, Seiya is the disaster, because let's say when we saw both Ace and Keiwa get attacked by a fruit bomb, straight after that we saw Seiya, but she looked at Neon. And here is the kind of more interesting part about it. Seiya took all the blame, saying that she was the disaster, and that got her eliminated. She even voted herself out. It's kind of interesting because Ace did look at her as like, okay, that's kind of fishy. And before Seiya got eliminated, she and Neon had a conversation. Neon said, pretty much, I'm the disaster. Here is the thing, they talked in their little shared little area. Things that are breaking away from the boys club to the girls club are a bunch of curtains. Are they the most like soundproof curtains in the world? Where did they buy it from? Because clearly everybody heard Neon pretty much say that she's the disaster, right? It would be funny if she gets eliminated next episode, or at least in the next game, and it's like, oh yeah, like we knew you were the disaster because you clearly said that. But yeah, the thing that everybody got angry about last week was just a straight up misdirection, and no one expected that. Everybody's like, oh yeah, that sucks that Seiya is a disaster, it's kind of dumb. And I was like, oh no, she covered it up for her. And people like in some reviews like, oh my god, oh she did these sly hand movements, oh she's clearly the disaster, where we just got hoodwinked and bamboozled by Yuya Takahashi. Congratulations, son, you are the Japanese M. Night Shyamalan. There are some other stuff that I want to talk about, specifically Azuma being officially in the game. He has 7% approval ratings, hey, people like the bad boy, and Niramu and Ace having a conversation, not only about Azuma, but in that conversation specifically, Ace alluded that Niramu is probably not from this timeline, and Niramu says the same thing about Ace. And now to the thing that I don't really have a lot of ground on because it's still very speculatory now, and that is the main goal for the Yamato and Bobora, and that is still in the goddess of creation. She's right now in the possession of the DGP. What she is, probably she's the person that actually grants the winner's wish and she can change the world, and specifically they call her goddess. They use, you know, she a lot. Probably it's Mitsune, and probably because of her being the goddess of creation, Ace wants to meet her, maybe because he maybe knows that she's semi-responsible for his kind of existence. I don't know, like this is very interesting, and I hope all the build-up actually leads to something actually really cool and not something that is like, okay, that's not that interesting. I hope it's like leads up to something actually interesting. So yeah, comment below, let me know. Tell me what you found about the reveal that Neon is actually the disaster. And it's not Seiya, and we were bamboozled. God damn you, Yuya. But yeah, thank you very much. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel if you didn't. Have a great rest of your day.